Welcome to Playing the Ace. My name is Sabrina, and I'm here with a reminder. Midterms. Midterms are coming up, and we have gathered some tips and strategies that are both excellent and effective. What makes them so great? Because I got them directly from the people who know midterms best, the faculty. I asked some of the OLLU faculty about what tip or strategy they would offer students to help prepare for midterms. Check out what they had to share.
Hi scholars, I know that you are preparing for your midterms, and which can be a scary time, especially for first-gen students out there that don't know what to expect. One of the best advice that I could give any freshman or any student in general when it comes to midterms is have a checklist. It's something as simple, but if you think about it, when you're going to prepare for a trip of any kind, one of the best ways that I prepare is make sure that I have a really strong checklist to know, do I have everything I need for this trip, for this journey? So if you have several classes, what are the priorities that you have to have for that class to be successful in the midterm? Is it buying a blue book ahead of time? Is it making sure that your document has been uploaded correctly? Does it involve other people and resources to make sure that you're successful on this journey, such as spending time at the writing center or with tutors? Does it involve having a healthy study session with others that could help prepare you for that? Create a checklist. What are things that you would take on a trip to the beach? Do that for an academic space for each class to make sure that you're successful in going into each one of those checklists. And don't forget to hydrate, and make sure that you bring water, that you bring snacks, that you have a healthy meal, that you're prepared and focused and ready to get into that midterm and to be present. Good luck.
Hi, I'm Dr. Steven Salako. I am the chair of the Math and Science department, and here's some helpful tips for preparing or studying for your midterm exams. First and foremost, I would recommend that you make sure you get enough sleep. Sleeping before exams is very necessary. Memory recall and ability to maintain concentration are much improved when you are well rested. Second tip, take advantage of your professor's office hours. They are reserved for you. Remember, you're not bothering us. Those hours are reserved for you to take advantage of, to come in with questions that you may have prior to your midterm exams. Third tip is utilize campus resources like ACE for tutoring assistance, writing assistance. Another tip I would recommend is trying study groups. Effective study groups can help students learn course materials in a deeper, more concrete way. It's always good to work with members of your class.
Hi, I'm Dr. Megan Borer. I'm Assistant Professor of Biology. My best advice to you in preparing for exams is to use active studying. And by active, I mean that you need to be writing something, not just reading it. So there's actual studies that show that you only really remember about 15% of what you read. So you're going to have to read those notes a lot, and you're going to have to spend hours to be able to remember that amount of material. But if you use active studying, where you might be answering questions that your professor gave you. So if they gave you any kind of study guide or homework questions, answer those, write them down. Make a concept map. You can Google that and find examples of that, but that's making a map to connect these different ideas. Summarize your notes. So take a set of notes from class, try to summarize them in one page. So these are all ways that will help you remember things better. You're going to spend less time and you're going to remember more. And you can also use these things to test yourself. So after you've done it once, using your notes, using your book, put it away, try it again, see how much you can get just from memory. That's going to help you know what you need to focus your time on.
Hello, I'm Dr. Cheshire, the Math Center Coordinator at Our Lady of the Lake University, and I want to give you a few tips to help you study for your midterm exams. First, please don't cram. Proper learning requires spaced repetition. That means you will need to review the material over the course of days and even weeks, not just hours. Studying for just 30 minutes a day over 2 weeks is far far better than studying for 7 hours the night before your test. You can think of it as playing offense instead of defense. The more you already know, the less you need to review and catch up on at the last minute. Next, make a study plan based on what you're expected to learn. Your professor and textbooks will provide you with a set of learning objectives for each lesson. These will reflect what you are expected to know and understand on the test. These are often provided at the beginning of a class or a textbook section. Write these learning objectives down, and then find 1 or 2 questions or problems that relate to each objective that you've written. You can think of these as a collection of potential questions that you may see on your test. Practice answering these example questions until you feel comfortable with each one. Finally, as you practice, do your best to wean yourself off of your notes. If you consult your notes every time you answer a question or solve a problem, you won't transfer the knowledge to your brain. It will stay on your paper. Work as much of the problem as you can on your own until you get stuck. Even then, try your hardest to remember how to continue working on the problem. If you're still stuck after a minute or 2, then consult your notes, but just enough to get you unstuck. The next time you solve a similar problem, try to make it a little farther before you have to check your notes. Your goal should be to solve each problem without having to use your notes at all before the test day arrives. With a little planning and practice, you can take control of your studying and feel confident going into your next test. Come see our tutors in the ACE for more help and study tips. Work hard and good luck.
And there you have it, right from the minds of educators. Remember to get some sleep, eat well, and throw some exercise in there when you can. You've got this, students. Good luck. Thanks for watching Playing the Ace. Remember, don't gamble with your academic success.
Playing the Ace is a new web series from OLLU's Academic Center for Excellence. Every week, we will be talking about elements and strategies that can help you develop as a learner. Join us and enhance your learning experience.